They're giving you a hard time, Counselor.
Well, don't give me a hard time on my socks, all right?
No wearing any?
Yeah, avoid that conversation.
Where's Cullen? He's on the out.
Hello.
Hello there.
Jason.
It's all right.
Well, I think we're about ready to get started.
I'll be good, I promise, Belle.
Don't sneeze, okay?
Now, not every, just when we
Don't
get
make any
started,
promises you can't keep.
the routine that we expect to see is people that are on the agenda to talk or speak will come, and they're probably down in Ann's office, and when she sees us
Yeah.
next, she's ushering down, so. I will move up, Mike Rogers right after, Brian Wofford, move him up after that, so that those people with power lift can make their presentation and get on before they have to leave, so. All right. I got 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
We'll call this regular scheduled session of fiscal court into order. And we'll start off with an invocation by Magistrate Gay.
All right. Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. Lord, we just ask that you be with this court as we make the decisions that are in the best interest of the people of this great county. Father, we ask that you put your hedge of protection around the men and women that stand on the front lines defending our country around the world. And Lord, we pray that you will continue to protect those that are on the front lines fighting in the pandemic. Not only our healthcare professionals, but those in our businesses and retail service industry, be with them as they work to serve our country. We pray all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. All right, if everybody will stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next on the agenda, we approve two different sets of minutes individually. And we'll do the regular meeting, which is the oldest of the two. Regular scheduled meeting will,
Make a motion to approve them.
Second.
motion made by Magistrate Simmons to approve and seconded by Magistrate Cullen. And so, comments, discussion, correction.
1 point, Judge, on page 3 under Magistrate Ellis, I'm almost certain that I mentioned with respect to Mill Street over there that the new Dollar General store property is causing flooding. It has now happened 3 times and never happened in 31 years that some of the residents have lived there. If I'm wrong about that, I'll make a comment in new business.
So what do you want?
I'll check with Ann to see if I did mention flooding, but it would be inappropriate to add that word if I did not. I was almost certain that I did because it was a near crisis situation. So I'll just check with Ann to see.
My memory may not be as good as yours. I don't remember it, but she would be the litmus test on whether it was.
You've got a comment there where you said they had issues.
Correct, yeah, and I thought I was very specific because they've been flooding for the first time in 31 years. But I'll mention that in
I
new
believe
business.
that's all you said, really.
All right, what else? Is it? Any further discussion on the regular scheduled minutes? All those who are in favor of approving signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you for that. Okay, next we'll take up the special called meeting, which was a record 7 minutes and 48 seconds, I believe.
Approve the minutes of the special call meeting.
Second.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion made by Magistrate Gay, seconded by Magistrate Cohen to approve the special call meetings discussion. There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right. Next, we're gonna approve some bills, and is Lawrence gonna?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's out there. Come on in, Lawrence. You got it. You're up.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Standing orders.
Keep that
2000
mask on, keep that mask on. We can hear you.
Good morning. Standing orders are $2,027.53. The payroll, $278,257.87. The purchase orders and the vouchers, $458,699.98. Grand total, $738,985.38.
Move to pay the bills as presented.
Second it.
All right, motion made by Magistrate Gay to approve the bills as presented and seconded by Magistrate Short. Is there any comments, discussions, and questions?
Yeah, we need to clarify something in our bills. Lawrence, if you don't mind, to identify that you want to pay some election officials.
I do, and that's not on here. I apologize, it's not on this list.
You didn't want to pay them?
No, I'm gonna pay them on the 28th.
Oh, okay. You had talked to me
I
about
know.
doing something
But
different,
I
so I
still-
didn't know you
yes, ma'am.
changed your mind.
I apologize for not informing you. Yes,
Why is it taking so long to pay those people?
time constraint.
I'm sorry. Why is
Time
it taking-
constraint, there's only one of me.
How many people are we talking about?
There's a list here, that I was given,
Is this a three-page list here?
It is,
Okay.
okay.
So,
It's in there.
we've got the packet.
Okay,
This is who you're
Yes.
gonna pay?
Yes.
So do you need a motion just to say, we
No,
okay?
I apologize. Those are standing orders that are already approved.
No.
They're in there for your information, because they're in the payroll portion of it, because they're paid by payroll check. These are the people that I'm talking about.
next page, maybe.
So this packet has all the information you
Yes,
need?
yes,
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
can we just make a motion to say it's okay to pay these people, and then
yes, you can. if
Okay.
want to.
you can take care of it?
Yes, let's do
Let's
that.
do it.
When
Let's
you-
do the first motion.
When you clone yourself?
Yeah, well,
We have to vote on approval of the bills first,
Okay,
as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Well, I think
You got a motion on
we
the
already
floor.
have it on the floor, so,
And already
second. yeah, so,
I think I seconded
any
it.
discussion on approving the bills?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Now, entertain a second motion.
I make a motion to pay the elected officials and also to pay the businesses or places where we conducted the elections, of which was First Christian Church and the fire station. Well, fire station don't owe anything, but we owe First Christian Church $50, looks like. I make a motion, we pay all these bills.
I'll second that one. Or John.
Motion to pay the election officials and locations, Magistrate Salmons, and second by Magistrate Cullen. Discussion.
For the record, the election commissioners are a total of $350. The precinct location is $50. And the election officers, there is a list that will be submitted in the amount of $4,096.08. Thank you.
Well, we got a copy of that, right?
So noted. It's all in there.
Yeah, 4,000, you see.
Any additional discussion, comments, or questions? All those in favor of approving paying the election officials and locations, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. All right,
Thanks for your hard work, man.
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, Ms. Berry, budget and cash transfers.
So first, there were a few budget transfers, and I need to clarify this because the CARES Act, when you read the detailed fine print, and if you remember that when we developed our budget, we did not include any CARES expenditures, and the CARES Act talks about unfunded expenditures. So, as we go through the fiscal year, all COVID-19 expenditures are unbudgeted and will require general reserves to cover those expenses. So those are two of those salaries and expenditures for the CARES. Those are the two budget transfers, and so you'll see those regularly through the year. So those are my budget transfers. If you'd like to approve those separately from cash, or I could do cash as well.
Make a motion, we approve them both.
Well, may I say the cash transfers then?
Yeah.
So the cash transfer is from the general fund to the joint jail fund in the amount of $177,500. And Mercer County will be matching their portion of that at 29%.
Second that motion.
Okay, motion made to approve the budget and cash transfers made by Magistrate Salmon, and second by Magistrate Gay. Is there any questions, comments, or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you for that. Now, Miss Shannon Green, are you ready to come in?
Shannon?
While we're waiting for her, can we talk about bumping Mike up on the list
All right, we
here?
already mentioned that.
Oh. I must have been out.
No, since you've been sitting there.
No.
We're gonna put him right after Brian.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I'd like to request approval to hire a new finance officer, Keegan Hinkle, effective August 3rd at $32,380 a year.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made to approve, made by Magistrate Gay, seconded by Magistrate Cullen.
What was the salary again?
It's on your
$32,380.
sheet there.
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
And now, it's time for discussion, questions, comments.
Okay, whose place is he gonna be taking, who's he gonna be working with, and what have you?
It's the finance officer, which was Jacob.
Hankey's
Lawrence gonna-
position.
Okay. Taking Lawrence's place,
Yeah.
Yes.
so Lawrence is out.
He'll be
And
back in
effective
tax.
when?
August the
August
3rd.
August 3rd.
Lawrence, is that Lawrence's last day also?
No,
No, he's going to go back to the tax
he
office.
came from the tax admin office.
Okay, alrighty. Where you from?
I'm from here.
Go to school, Ball County?
Yes, sir.
What year?
I graduated 15.
15, where'd you go to college?
I went to Georgetown.
Georgetown,
I played
good
football
school.
up there.
Okay.
I
He has an
graduated-
accounting degree.
Yep. I
Accounting
graduated about a
degree.
year ago. So,
Okay, who's your parents?
James and Danielle Hinkle.
And where you live?
We gotta be real careful about what we're asking people in a public meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to find out who he is.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
who
I
vote
know,
for
I
him.
know.
I live off 1875 Harrisburg Road, right off Maple Avenue. So,
Okay.
I was on that team that went to the Final Four. I don't know if you remember that. Played with
Yeah,
Hayden
I
College.
knew that. I'm Ball County.
So, yeah.
But
All right.
I was real impressed with Keegan's accounting prowess during the interview. I was convinced, as was the other board members that did the interview, that he has a tremendous fresh grasp of what we need as in that office as a financial officer for the county. So I'm excited about his interest in county government. And do you have any questions? Now's the time to ask you.
What's your background? Where have you been working?
So when I first got out of school, I wasn't 100% what I wanted to do. I kind of thought about taking the CPA route. You got to get a few more hours before you can qualify for the exam.
Right.
So my dad owns his own company, and I worked for him every summer since the 5th grade. And well, at first I was like, I kind of thought about doing some pharmaceutical sales. You know, I like to think of myself a pretty good-looking young man.
Yeah.
But so I thought that might be a good job for me. And most of the places, they wanted me to have a little medical sales experience. And I knew a guy, a family friend, that sold life and health insurance. So I did that for a little while. But I feel like it's just kind of something you're pushing on to people. You know, it's not like when you're selling car and house and everything all together, you know, it's
You
kind of.
got two insurance guys in here, so be careful.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
But, you know, so I did that and then kind of slowed down a little bit with the pandemic, and then so I just went back to working for my dad. So I've been doing that.
What
until
company
now.
is he on?
Do what?
Your dad, what business?
Kentucky Spray Foam. So I've been doing that I'll be happy to get in here in a little air conditioning. That's for sure, because it's hot up there.
It gets hot in that office.
I don't think it can be nowhere near as bad as those attics. I come out like a coop.
You're in government now. It gets real hot. So.
Yeah.
Shannon, I'd like to, maybe in the future when we're hiring someone, if you give us a copy of their resume, I'd appreciate that.
I will tell you that the personnel committee did meet on him and signed off.
So you know, or you're on personnel committee,
Yes,
so.
Mr. Sharp and
John
is on
Mr. Short and I
So
met.
y'all highly recommend him? Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve him.
Second.
Already been done.
Sorry, yeah.
Already done.
It's been done
We
already.
were in the discussion phase there.
Yeah, we were in the
Oh,
discussion.
I'm sorry, we're waiting to vote on him, all right.
All right. Is there any more questions, Keegan?
Nope.
You start
Maybe
first,
get to work.
Robert.
All right, all those in favor of approving the hire, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Congratulations and welcome to county government. We'll see you on the 3rd of August.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
You'll have a good one.
Thank you. Mhm.
I had one question, I didn't get to it. I'm gonna ask
Lord
if Mary
help,
approved it.
Phil.
I did.
Okay.
Does he have a background in Lotus, Mary?
No, but there is software out there that will convert that, and that'll be
Good.
something that young man maybe can
Good.
look at, so.
All right, next,
Next
Shannon.
on there, we request the fiscal court approve a special leave that was requested for Sarah Proffitt at the jail. We asked the personnel committee if they would agree to that.
It's a unique circumstance, let's put it
Yes.
that way. And,
Can I clarify, the personnel policy does not allow employees to take an extended leave without any type of leave balances, and this individual is a new employee who has not yet acquired any leave balances, so, or, no, she has leave balances.
She had a little bit, and we
And-
used that
and
while
she's
she
used
was.
those. So, to extend her leave, the jailer is requesting, and that's what the personnel policy says, is the executive authority asked the fiscal court to approve this leave.
Does the jail committee know anything about this? Like the
I don't have
reasons?
I don't have the answers to that.
So we're being asked to make a decision on something we don't have information about?
Personnel committee has looked at it, right?
The
Yes.
personnel
Oh.
committee,
Yes.
I think they said
we,
they
we,
looked at it.
Yeah.
this is an unusual circumstances, and the personnel committee did meet on it, and we were very much aware of it and signed off.
You signed up, okay. Well,
it's more personnel.
no, that's
than
fine,
jail.
that's fine. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure that
What
somebody's
did she
got
do?
their eyes on it.
What did she do at the jail,
She's a deputy.
deputy?
A good deputy.
All right, I'll go ahead and make that motion then. That's fine.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Cullen and seconded by Mr. Short, to approve the special leave request for Ms. Proffitt. Any
Hope
further
all's
dis-
well with her.
All those
I
in
wasn't
favor-
at that
Go
meeting,
ahead.
but I was aware of the meeting and I, you know, I approved it by telephone, so.
We voted for you.
I know. But I agreed with doing it,
Yeah,
so.
I know you did.
As I did too. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, that motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. If you
Thank you,
could
Shannon.
sit, let's see,
Thanks, sir.
we don't need to see, Mike, the next one on the agenda, is, Mike Wilder. We, as this court, if I'm not mistaken, has already, approved giving him some money, right?
Well, what you did is you created a budget that's a plan And the plan was to give him an increase in
And give him an
salary.
increase in salary.
So here we are at the beginning of the fiscal
So
year.
we need to approve that increase in salary.
I'll make that
So
motion.
move. Second.
A motion made to increase the EMA director's salary as budgeted, made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Kaywood. This, if you remember, this was money that we received from
Pipeline on
Yeah.
Junction City.
it.
Yeah.
And
So-
this happened way before the COVID. We approved this way before COVID.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes, and so you'll need an effective date as well.
Do you have a recommended effective date, like immediately, or?
I would say retroactive July 1, if that's okay.
That works for me.
That's good.
In that motion? Okay.
You don't happen to have the amount, do you?
I don't.
Okay.
Any further discussion on the matter? All those in favor of approving the retroactive promotion, salary advancement for EMA director from July 1 of this year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next,
Thank you, Shannon.
the jailer Wofford.
Yeah.
Right up in. You're next.
Good morning.
Morning.
Order.
What you count today?
We're at 151, and we have about, there's about 14 to 16 that are other counties that we're holding, that we cannot, well, due to the Department of Corrections, we cannot transfer them out. Real quick, I'll pass out some information here. This is from
Thank you.
end of the year numbers, the fiscal year.
Thank you.
I thought the only thing we had you for was border.
Yeah, we're gonna
So you can kind of, I won't go through them, but you can just kind of see that's our average daily population on the first page. The second page is our commissary disbursement, and then the third one is the medical billing. These are everything that we've received up until this date. And then Judge, you want me to go ahead and do the joint jail minutes?
We have joint jail on the agenda for next time. They haven't
Yeah,
gotten their packet.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I
We'll do it
emailed
then.
that
All right.
specifically.
Let's talk about the boiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
The boiler, we're still waiting on. Here's what's happened. The boiler, it did pass inspection a couple of weeks. Yes. That's all right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. We have to have the boiler inspected. It did pass inspection, but the inspector said it was probably one of the worst he's seen for something that new. So basically, due to where the water is so hard, it's building up the
A lot of sediment in there.
right around it, and he says it's costing us more gas to have to heat it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it has to heat through all the sediment that's around it. So what we did is we called Culligan, and their bid for equipment is $9,840, and that's not counting the chemicals. But when we called Sellers, because Sellers put the boiler in, and they no longer do the acid wash, which is where they have to come in and shut it down and clean it. So they referred us to a company in Lexington. He said if it's a one-day job, it's probably $1,500, $1,600. If it's a two-day job, it's about $3,500, $3,600. He'll have to come down. But the good news is, well, the bad news is he's not made it down yet, so hopefully he'll show up this week, because he said either at the end of last week or sometime this week. And he said, I'll have to look at the boiler, but there may be another option where I can show your maintenance guy once a month. Basically, we can shut it down, and I can't remember the process, but it basically flushes and clean it. So we wouldn't maybe not have to go the Culligan route. I don't know, but until he comes down, so I really don't have the information on that. I was hoping he would have been here by now, but he said he is covered up, so hopefully he'll show up this week. Then also, Judge, I'd like to present the $25,000 check that I tried to before the last budget.
We'll gladly accept
If you don't take it this time, Judge.
This is it, huh?
Yeah.
Last chance.
So.
All right, thank you, thank
Let's
you.
present that.
Is that a personal check?
Personal check.
And then also, I'd like to make the announcement that I've met with the county attorney and others, and due to issues with the contract, I will no longer be participating in the Joint Jail Committee. Basically, the contract inhibits my lawful duties as a constitutional officer. It sets me up for malfeasance of office. It puts more, well, it opens me up for lawsuit as well as the fiscal court. So I presented you all with the list of reasons why, so I wanted to make that announcement today that I'll no longer be participating. And my recommendation is, I can't talk this mask on, is that the Boyle County Fiscal Court look at redoing the contract with Mercer County.
Counselor, you got any comments?
Brian and I have met several times, and I've looked at that joint jail agreement extensively, and it really, it's a dated agreement. It dates back to almost the 80s or.
It's 22 years old, I guess.
90.
It's in the 90s.
2000.
It's pretty dated, and the thing, it kind of, I think that they try to create an agreement which mimics a regional jail, but it's not a regional jail. And
there's certain KRSs for it to be a regional jail and use those guidelines.
So, I think that me and Ted Dean, we need to meet with one another. He's the county attorney in Mercer County. We need to work something out. But I kind of tend to agree a lot with what Brian's saying. He's not just saying it on his own. He's spoken to legal counsel as well through his Jailers Association and so forth. So I really do think that the agreement's more what you would have for a regional jail, and that's not what we have. Regional jail wouldn't even actually has someone other than the jailer that's kind of like the warden. I don't know.
The jail administrator.
An administrator that actually handles it, and so we don't have that.
I'd like to interject because I was here during the creation of all of that as county treasurer. It was not created as a regional jail, just to clarify, because I don't want any misconception of that. It was done as a hybrid of that, knowing that it was not a regional jail and allowing the jailer still to be the jailer with the cooperative interlocal working together, and it was created so that Mercer County had a conduit to be able to contribute money to the Boyle County Fiscal Court for a jail as a partner, as opposed to paying a daily per diem. Thank you.
But the agreement clearly states that the jailer becomes a jail administrator. The only entity that can legislate the constitutional office would be the legislature. Two fiscal courts cannot reduce my office.
I'm just telling you the intention of what was done 25 years ago today.
Okay, what do you need from us, sir?
We were plowing new ground.
Yes.
When
Yes.
we,
Very new. So I'm sure mistakes were made. That's just part of it.
I'd like to see us, me personally, agree with me if you like, but I'm gonna hurt my feelings. I'd like to see us try it as, instead of having Mercer as a partner. I don't think this has ever worked out as well as we should have. Instead of having them as a partner, let them be a customer if they like. Let them pay us so much per day per inmate instead of us worrying about it. And that dissolves the monthly meetings that you guys have to attend. That relieves you up of those duties. And let them, if they want to, be a customer. Let them pay us per day per inmate and us run the jail, and think of how much easier it's going to be without us being involved in another jail.
As chair of the jail committee, I would like to echo what Magistrate Sammons has said.
What, is that all you have for us today?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Wofford, what I would like to do with the court's blessing is to ask the Detention Center Committee, which is Magistrate Ellis and Magistrate Gay, to begin a discussion actively with Judge Dedman and myself to examine transitional opportunities and aspects of a different contract or arrangement.
Sounds like a good plan.
I support that.
And sooner than later. Like
Yes, sooner. We
sooner
need
than
to be
later.
getting on it right now.
Okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to see if we needed to take any action on the boiler repair.
Well, not until I get an estimate. Of course, it's not in the budget, but as soon as I get an estimate, I'll get it up here to the courthouse. So when he comes down and kind of talks to us, and then we'll have a better plan. So I could come back, hopefully the next meeting, and kind of say, here's what I think we should look at doing. And one other thing, the Department of Corrections is still not allowing jails to send inmate workers out to Humane Society, road departments, or anything like that, because they don't want them to be exposed to the public. But we finally received approval to start our work crew back up, our inmate community work program. So that is starting up, but basically they're going to be doing mowing, picking up trash, those kinds of things that can't be around the public. The jail inspector's actually going to show up and do unannounced checks, so we have to give them a work schedule each week prior, so they can show up unannounced to make sure we're complying with everything. So if you all do have something in your districts, please let me know, or you can let Fred know. And also, we've hired Barry Harmon. He's come back part-time, so he's going to be working doing the same thing Fred does. So we've kind of split the county up. The one thing I would like to do is I'd like to pick up some work at Constitution Square. I think it would help the county if we could have them have that crew go up, empty trash, pick up sticks, and weed eat. They can't use a riding mower or anything like that, but they can do some other stuff, and that would help the county out. So I'd like to offer that as well.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good.
All right, thank
One
you.
other thing, Brian, you mentioned 14 or 16 from other counties. Are the per diems being paid by those counties, or a disproportionate share by the state? 'Cause that's
No,
less.
we do not charge other counties when we house an inmate, because normally it's just for 2 or 3 days until the sheriff's, and they
But
do the
this is
same
an
for ours.
abnormal circumstance.
It's right, it's reciprocal, though. If there's counties out there holding Boyle County inmates, and we're not receiving a bill for it. So that's kind of something the Jailers Association, we've never done, because, hey, you're going to end up with one of mine sooner or later. So we do not receive. So basically what we're waiting on, and those guys have been quarantined, we're just waiting on the Department of Corrections to give us approval to transfer of folks. So that's what's holding us up.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Before you leave, the judge, I understand, is he gonna be in on the interview that these guys are gonna be discussing, should be?
About the contract?
Yes, sir.
There's no, it's fine with me. I mean, there's no.
I think you should get information from him on his suggestions.
I don't mind
Yeah.
I think as the elected official for this whole thing, he should be primary in some of these conversations.
Good idea.
Yes,
So-
and it's really 2 separate issues, me withdrawing because of the legal issues, and doing the contract is a fiscal court issue, but I do not mind to assist with that.
Yeah, that's fine. All right.
All right, thank you all.
Thank
All right, thank you. Send Mike Rogers in. Howdy, howdy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Again.
Are we just doing this one agenda item and then bring it back, or
Do what
you
there?
just want to do the one agenda item for them so they can?
No, start with them and go right on through
Okay.
your part.
All right, thank you, Judge. Thank you, Court. First thing we have on the agenda today is the consideration of the power load system. And I have Andrea here from Stryker, and I'm sorry, sir.
Chris.
Chris from Stryker. And we kind of previewed a little bit this morning for our EMS committee, and the judge and Mary's seen it. But basically what it is, and I'll let you do it, Andrea, if you don't mind.
Sure. The power load cot fastening system is a system that mounts in the back of the ambulance that allows the crews to dock their stretcher in, and it will pick up and automatically load that stretcher into the back of the ambulance. So, couple things, right? Injury reduction, lifting related injuries for loading and unloading patients, it completely eliminates that. 2, it's going to eliminate the chances of missing, there's a hook in the back of the ambulance that manually the crews have to hit to be able to unload, but this eliminates that they're not dropping a patient accidentally out of the back of the ambulance. But more specifically related to COVID, is that it reduces the number of people needed on the scene to be able to load the patients, in combination with they're loading from the foot end of the stretcher, so that 6 feet of exposure, you wouldn't have medics or EMTs up around the head section of the head of the patient, which is where we know that aerolizing procedures occur with COVID. So multiple activities that power load will benefit for you guys. In relationship to CARES funding, you can certainly use that to justify the preparedness, prevention, and response for COVID-19. But long-term, the benefits for the court and for the service here is eliminating those lifting-related injuries and eliminating the chances of missing a hook and accidentally dropping a patient.
We have two FMLA or two.
I think we need to focus primarily on the CARES Act here, because what we're asking the fiscal court is to consider the power load systems and the COTS, 3 of them specifically, and ask the CARES Act to reimburse us, because we're looking at keeping not only the patients safe, but our staff people safe from any type of COVID activity. And so that's why they're here. That's why I've asked them to be here today.
A related question to what Mary's talking about. Is there maintenance on these and warranty, and would that be part of the CARES Act funding that we would get?
The proposals I put together for you include one that's just the equipment. The second one does include a 7-year service agreement proposal. I'm not certain, but we have had other services that also get the service agreement approved with CARES as well. So that is an opportunity if you should want to do that.
So it's a certainty that we would get CARES money for that as well?
There's no certainty with CARES money, but I think it's very easy to justify the preparedness, prevention, and response for COVID-19, and the fact that you're maintaining and keeping your equipment up to date.
That's critical.
Correct. Yeah. So critical to keep these guys on the road, to keep the crews safe, to keep the patients safe. You know, if an ambulance goes down because equipment's out of service, you're reducing the availability to prepare, prevent, and respond to COVID-19. So I do think it's very easy to justify that ProCare or Stryker service agreement. Good question.
And just to clarify, we have all of our equipment on that truck annually serviced with certifications in a drawer, so if anything were to happen.
Well, that's state requirement, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I just want the money from CARES.
Not necessarily, not on all equipment, no.
Is it really?
Well,
not on all
no,
equipment.
the state requires you to have a plan, but
Right.
they don't necessarily, they don't dig down into your plan.
Well, when they come down to inspect you,
Yeah.
don't they inspect it all?
Well, they don't expect, they check, okay, you've got a stretcher, check. That's all they do. The inspection they do is mechanical and make sure everything's operating, and they put a sticker on it so that it's good.
Make sure it's running to get you there and back.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I watched the demonstration outside while
We
that
did.
was pretty impressive, and
So the-
go ahead.
No, you go ahead, I'm sorry.
What impressed me was the load bearing capability of the stretcher, and the one person handling. You could put literally very easily a 600-700 pound person on the stretcher, one button up in, just effortlessly, like pushing a filing cabinet drawer in. And while that, what amazed me was the demonstration. While that stretcher is fully extended out from the van in the what do you call that position?
Cantilever.
Yeah.
Cantilever position. It could and has, although it's not, it's cited for, it has actually held more weight than it's cited for by FDA, but 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds easy. So, you know, to be able to have access to this system, it is purely a COVID-19 issue to us, because she did it. One finger, basically up, down, and in like that, very effortlessly, rather than 5-6 people taking to lift a 400-pound person up
With all that
into the
exposure.
buggy. It's awesome.
What impressed me was even Phil could run it.
And he, yeah.
Yeah, during the demonstration this morning, I did load Chris by myself into the back of my demo vehicle.
So what do we need, a motion here to go ahead and?
Well, we got two proposals, one with and one without the maintenance agreement.
But, yeah, we haven't seen the total amounts on those, I don't think, so. How would you like for us to proceed, Mary, as far as recommendation? Because the proposals, we haven't seen the amounts, for the three, but is the system, is it the ambulance system and the stretchers is one system?
So what I just did, I just emailed Mike the quotes for the stretcher portion of it. So the proposals in front of you, only, this is where it gets a little complicated. The stretchers that the ambulance service currently has are retrofittable and available to work with this lifting system. So the quotes that I have before you today include, there's a compatibility kit that goes on the stretcher, and then the lifting system and the installation into the ambulance.
Does this mean?
I think what we need to do is, we need to get rid of the mud and just look through the clear water and let them, moving forward, is to get the fiscal court to agree that we need to do these cots and the loading system, and 3 of them, and for the maintenance agreement, and have, because I think it's important, whether COVID pays for it or not, to have a maintenance agreement.
Agree.
But to forward those after the meeting when they're all finalized to the county judge executive and let him go ahead and move forward, give him the authority to move forward if he's pleased with what he's looking at. Because we don't have on any of these quotes the trade-ins on existing cots,
right,
and the other loading system trade-ins as well. So I'd like to have that all clean and concise, and let the judge look at that and and decide if it's fair, and the fiscal court give him the authority to do that.
I'm a little confused on, and I'd like to explain to me one more time, if you don't care, Mike, the stretcher itself. What we're doing, we're adding something to the stretcher, is that what you're saying?
Okay, so what we did with the last ambulance that we bought what's called the performance load. Okay, so that means you manually have to have all those people put it in there.
Well, I thought we paid big money for those stretchers.
The stretcher, we have 2 new stretchers.
Right.
2 of the stretchers that we need. We still have several stretchers that are older than that from 2009, that are outside their FDA warranty, which is 7 years. But we've been PMing them every year, so they're in really good shape.
But I think what he's asking is, we've been spending a lot of money for power lift stretchers, the stretchers that hydraulically lift up.
Yeah.
Yes, we have those, but they don't load themselves into the truck by themselves.
So
Well, why is this? I'm confused. This has been working for us for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Why do we need to spend extra money for something that's working? You guys are working well with the ones, and I remember you coming to us, Mike, and telling us what a great stretcher this is.
It is a
And
great
so, well, we paid this big money for this.
Yeah.
Let me try to put it in lay terms, and you all correct me if I'm wrong. We can get them up.
Right.
But the word cantilever is what I understand. We can't get them moving forward into the ambulance with the equipment that we currently have.
Have we been doing it before?
No, that's been
Doing it
power of
manually.
men and women lifting, and
Okay.
the possibility of workers' comp injuries.
But we actually have 2 people out for that reason, because of the lifting.
Okay.
The power lift will lift it up.
The big thing
But
is,
Okay, what you're talking about
you have
shoving
to
it on
release
in.
it, put it into the wagon, that
Oh.
takes all the weight off.
So when you get on
Okay.
scene, you take the stretcher out of the ambulance, you load the patient, you come back to the ambulance. A lot of times, I don't know why, but always driveways are off camber. So you put it back in there, and then what happens is, if it's off camber, I'll have to load it myself, and then my partner will have to go push it in there.
Okay.
So we'll take that great stretcher that we have, we'll put it in the ambulance, and then this thing will take over and load it by itself.
Okay, how much trouble is it? This is a mechanism you installed on our stretcher, is that correct?
On the
ambulance.
ambulance.
On the ambulance. How much time or cost is it to just install it?
So in the proposal, Stryker will not install it into the ambulance. There's a multitude of installation companies, but in this proposal is one from a third party called Instatech. They will come on site and do that. So that again, we can arrange that for you guys. We won't do it, but we do have a company that we work with that will come on site, do that. It takes them about an hour in ambulance.
So there's not a lot of downtime for the three
Oh, no,
ambulances?
no, it'll be done in a day. Like,
Where you
it's
guys-
probably like
where you guys
before
from?
breakfast. Excuse me?
Where you from? Where
Lexington.
I'm sorry?
Lexington.
Lexington.
Mhm.
So,
I'm sorry, Stryker Corporation is headquartered in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're a U.S.-based
Okay.
organization.
Judge, do you need a motion?
I do need a motion to allow me the discretion.
So the proposal that we were given earlier is not the one that we need to vote on.
He has the proposal.
Mike has the
now.
new one. Mike, can you forward that to Ann right now? And let's table this power load system so that everybody has what they need in front of us. We know what we're voting on. John and I are on the committee, and we both agree that we need these systems, but I want to make sure everyone has the information that's needed. So.
Well, the only thing we'd be voting on, the way I understand it, is giving the judge or authority to go ahead and
Negotiate.
approve it. Am I correct?
Negotiate.
Because we don't know the trade-in value of what we have yet.
If you want, you can add the committee as part of this group.
Well, and I would.
Would you feel?
Welcome that.
Would you welcome and feel
Absolutely.
more comfortable in that? Are you okay
You
with
too.
that?
I'm fine with that, sir.
And that would be the EMS committee or the finance committee? Which one are
EMS.
you talking
My
about?
thought was the EMS.
Okay.
EMS committee.
Okay.
That was just my thought for conversation.
Let's just make a motion to all comes back to you and,
Then I will work with the
Then
EMS
you work
committee
with
to
EMS.
determine exactly
Yes.
what our credits we might be for the equipment that we have, we trade in, and what we need to have.
And if the EMS committee gives.
And with the maintenance agreements.
Exactly.
It's a little off.
I so move.
It's a little off
Second.
you.
Got a
Yeah, it does.
motion?
It takes a little off.
Judge, you got a motion and a second.
Motion made by Magistrate Simmons and seconded by Magistrate Ellis.
The other way.
Other way, made by Magistrate Ellis, seconded by Magistrate Simmons. Sorry.
Okay.
Discussion.
Nope.
Is this contingent upon the CARES funding, or is this something we're moving forward with?
We're moving forward with it under the,
Okay. I need to answer this because I was the one that kind of instigated all of this. And I sent an email to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, who is funneling that money through, and they have given me written authorization that if we buy, they will reimburse because of the loading mechanism, not because of workers' comp, because of the loading mechanism where it takes one person to put that person in, where we've never been able to do that before.
That's why.
Eliminating all the exposures.
exactly, that's the main reason it's gonna be
That's why I
approved.
think the answer to Magistrate Salmon's question was, why is it different now? Well, now we have this virus that we're trying to limit exposure to prevent the further spread of the virus.
Okay, that answers my question. 'cause
The
that's
written
where
confirmation.
It's not budgeted.
I know,
At this point in time, and so I just wanted to
yeah.
make sure that
No, I
we had good assurance
I
that we
did.
have
She does.
CARES funding.
I'd still cross my fingers if I was you.
Call the question.
A letter in
All
the
right.
packet that I can email you.
Yes.
Stryker did provide a justification statement that you can submit when you're going to submit for reimbursement.
And I would like
That
that.
outlines all that.
Can you send that to
Yeah.
Treasurer Conley?
We've got a
You
copy of
it?
it here,
Okay.
but yeah.
All right,
So in
motion
order
been
to
made
get-
and
the
seconded.
The order to get reimbursed on this is the idea that it's exposure.
Yeah, correct.
You
Yeah.
know, it's less exposure for personnel that's in that, so, okay.
All right. All those in favor of the motion,
Aye.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you for that, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Good
Have
presentation.
have
Thank
a good next visit or stop wherever you're headed to.
Thank you for your
We'll be
time
back.
today.
Thank you for being here today.
We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Bye.
Guys, be safe.
You too. All right, Mike, let's move on through these other items here so we can get some other people in.
What's the next item on there? I don't have it.
Request approval of part-time hire.
Part-time hires, Matt White and Josh Ryder.
Matt White, he's a paramedic. He is actually on duty today and wasn't able to make it. But Joshua Ryder is here to be considered for hire. Joshua is an EMT, so I would like to make his consideration $12 an hour pay, effective immediately. Matt White is a paramedic, so his pay rate would be at $15 an hour part-time, effective immediately.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Short, I believe. And questions, comments, discussions. We got one of them here. You can ask questions.
And I don't know, this is Kim Ryder's son, so Kim retired from, not too long ago, so.
Great. Keep it in the family.
Highly recommended from Kim. So.
Plus, he's put up with us since 9 o'clock this morning.
That's right.
Even earlier.
Yeah.
All right, no questions, comments, discussions? All those in favor of the approval of the part of these hires, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Congratulations, and appreciate your
Thank you.
coming to work for the county. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, transmission, we got the estimate
Yes.
here from A&M.
Yes, it's, EC3 is our oldest truck in the fleet. We just need to get the transmission repaired. We do have with A&M, the company they use is Jasper, so you'll have a 100,000 mile warranty after that. Any other questions on that?
This only bid you've got?
It's a good question. John, Major Wesley took care of that.
It's hard to get anybody to do anything, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it kind of, the way it happened was it broke, we barely got it there because the transmission was out, and that's the closest place. He's done some transmission work for us in the past. He does, and he really helps us out as far as getting them in and out, so, but right now, that's the only bid we have, just because it was not operable to be able to move it.
That's something that I really want to be proactive with in looking at bid specs in the future on these vehicles, because these diesels, even the gas, don't have the transmissions that are adequate to carry the weight that is on these vehicles, and that exacerbated these transmissions to wear out a lot quicker. They need a larger torque converter, need an Allison transmission rather than a standard transmission in them, and these need to be addressed during specs on future purchases. So.
Judge, sometimes we're having motors that are too large for the transmissions.
Yeah, well, those trucks, we talked about it, the judge and I, it has a Duramax engine, which is a good engine, and we all assumed that it had an Allison transmission until the first one went down.
But they don't.
And then they told us that it doesn't. So, we'll definitely make sure
The one good thing about these Jasper transmissions is they have 100,000 mile warranty on them. That will probably outlast the truck life with us, and that's a good thing.
I'll make the motion.
I second it.
Okay, motion made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Simons. Any more discussion on the bid? Approval? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you.
Can you get it in pretty quick, though?
It's probably there. You
Yeah.
just need to authorize them to go ahead and start working on it.
And this is one of our three?
Sorry.
One of our three ambulances?
Well, we have 6 total in the fleet.
But,
but
so
this-
it's not gonna have any downtime for?
No, you got two
normal.
other problems too.
Yeah, we still got.
All right, next, billing rates, talk to us.
Yeah, this is something that we do routinely, we just evaluate our billing rates. The recommendation comes from our compliance company, so it's a little bit, I think it's like $25 or $50 here and there, and there's a ratio that they go by, that when you bill Medicare, you only get so much money, so they want you to keep this ratio a certain way to get your maximum benefit. So this is something we do routinely. I'm sure Magistrate Gay would remember, we do it quite often. But
I'll make that motion.
This is just a recommendation from them.
Okay, motion made to consider the new billing rates, not consider, to approve new billing rates. It was made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Gay.
Haywood.
Haywood, oh, I'm sorry, John?
Can we make it effective August 1st, sir?
August 1st, effective August 1st, everybody.
I think I said that in my motion.
Committee.
Okay.
Judge, the committee, you on the committee, John? You all approve of this? Seems to me like this is getting kinda high. I mean,
Sir,
you're moving on up.
I did
You take
evaluate.
somebody at election and You're talking about what, $850 a mile?
No, it's not a mile, sir. It's a base rate. It's $850.
You got on your recommended rate per mile.
No, well, it's $850, and then it's 13 or 14. I think it's $14 a mile now.
Looks like it's going to $14 a mile.
Yeah. That's
From 13.
That's
Okay, yeah.
actually, when I looked at other services, we're a lot lower. There's actually one in Lexington is way higher, like
Well, that's
around
Lexington, that's not down, that's
$2,850.
Lexington, Mike, that's not down with Kentucky.
I mean, I understand, but it's a private service too, so.
Well, they're going from Lexington to Lexington, or Lexington to Louisville, is that where
Well, they go all over the state, but,
Okay.
yeah. I mean-
Good deal.
Mike, for example.
Yes, sir.
You make a run, you go in and pick someone up, you take them to the hospital. What's that total charge?
Well, some of the samples I do, like for a Lexington run.
I'm talking about from your,
Oh.
their home to the hospital.
From Ephraim to the hospital or home to the hospital? Home hospital.
Home hospital.
It'll be about, so
You're talking about $14 a mile.
yeah, so, it depends how far you live, but, $850 if it's ALS, and it depends, just on what procedures were done in the back of the truck. So, if you got an IV, cardiac monitor, those types of things, then that would queue up the ALS1, which would be $850, and then the mileage. So,
So 20 miles times $14 plus $850.
So for my house, it'd be $864, basically.
To what?
Now,
From my house.
so.
From his house.
Hospital.
Well, something happened to me, I'll jump my pickup truck. That sounds, it seems like we're getting a little high, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Yeah,
comparable.
this we started out
You're
600.
being transported in an emergency room.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
You're being transported in an emergency
The
room.
level of care we provide to you, like, let's just say a patient that calls for chest pain, the things that you will get is, we'll get there fast. You'll get, great customer service as far as an IV, medications on the way, a 12-lead. The hospital will know if you're having a heart attack before you even get there. On the way there, if we see you're having a heart attack, we will activate the cath lab. They will be waiting for you in the cath lab when you go in the door. You won't even stop in the ER.
And how many years have we done that service?
We worked at the hospital for about 7 years to be able to really perfect that system, but.
Adding cost as it goes.
Yeah. I mean, being able to transmit that information to that ER doctor, to that cardiologist, to look at their phone and say, oh yeah, we got a heart attack coming in, we need to go. So
Well, I understand that, that's a reasonable rate in that kind of condition. But I'm talking about someone that fell out here and broke a leg or broke an arm, you pick
Well,
them up,
that wouldn't necessarily, it depends on the procedures that are done in the back of the ambulance. If it's just a simple bandage, it'll probably just be a BLS charge, which the BLS charge is on there. So, again though, I'd really compare it to what Magistrate Gay said. You're getting an ER coming to your house, and,
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
throw you in a pickup truck and let you have a lesser rate.
In the middle of a
It
rainstorm.
all depends on who's driving.
Yeah, I'll come get you.
Good.
All right, we voted on that, right? So we already approved, or we haven't
No, we
voted?
haven't
We're
voted.
still in discussion. All right,
No, we're done discussion.
we're done with the
We're done with
discussion.
discussion.
All those in favor of the rate, billing rate approval,
Aye.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and motion carries. Thank you.
thank you,
Mike.
Judge, thank you for it.
Hey,
Appreciate
just
it.
real quick, your crew is good, everyone's safe?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are seeing COVID patients. We have transported at least 5 that I'm aware of, an unknown amount that we're not aware of. I mean, but 5 confirmed patients. And I talked to Dr. Grant yesterday, and the prevalence is much higher than it has been in the past. So keep your mask on. That's
Tell
what
them
Judge.
thank you, wash your hands.
I would think.
Before
All the
Mike,
more reason to get those things installed.
before Mike leaves, considering what our constituents, our population looks at in terms of expenditures of their money, tax dollars, I would urgently recommend that when this striker is being installed, that we get a hold of the Advocate Messenger and maybe even one of the TV stations out of Lexington, so that our public can see the critical nature of, as Magistrate Gay said, that we are an emergency room on wheels. And I think that they would do a front page feature on these strikers.
And I'm always very, I always tell a lot of people when I talk to people in the public that, you know, we wouldn't be able to provide the level of care that we provide if we didn't have support from the fiscal court. We receive the appreciation.
I would add that as we were being shown in the demo today, she said to us, the lady said to us,
Andrea,
how good Mike and his group are, and she sees and works with a lot of EMS groups in her region, in her area, and she really likes working with Mike, and she really thinks he does a good job.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I said, it's everybody, we're a team. The court
takes the village.
does everything it can to support his
Mike,
work.
let's make sure we get a newspaper article on this as it addresses COVID-19
Yes, sir.
issues and concerns and
Yes.
minimizing
Yeah.
crew.
Yes, sir. I will.
Yeah,
Thank
minimize the
you.
impact
Thanks,
on the
Mike.
taxpayers.
Thank you.
Wait a
All
minute,
right.
Mike, I have one, are you transporting very many patients to Lexington with this COVID-19?
Yes. Actually, the last one we did was to Louisville. And the reason that is the emergency regulations that the governor signed for EMS pretty much says that we have to take the patient anywhere the hospital tells us to. And I guess there were EMS services that were refusing to transport patients because they were COVID positive. So we actually took one to Louisville about a week ago to a sister facility of the facility that was affected in Lincoln County. So we're having a
So
regional
you're-
medical center is a blessing, but it's also, we have to deal with the repercussions from that.
So you've seen a rise in this COVID-19 the last week or so?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you, thank you. All right, next, we got Jody and Ethan Witt here to bring us up to speed on the airport expansion. As many of you know, I hope you know, that there is a movement afoot to expand the airport with a building that could potentially house the Eastern Kentucky University Aircraft Maintenance Technician Program in addition to some aviation aspects potentially. There is a grant application in the process that it is nearly ready to be submitted to the Economic Development Administration in Atlanta, Georgia. And they're here to talk about where we are. I've got several letters of support for those and how we need to marry those up. Jody, you can tell us, Ethan. So they're here to give us an update. We, Mary, I guess this is about as good a time as any to mention that that seeing this as a great opportunity for Boyle County, period, we felt like it would be very important that if we utilize any economic development funds like our set aside we had a year ago and maybe this year, a 30,000 figure for asset development would be appropriate to contribute to the package's matching fund requirement, okay? Even if it goes to a different route, the fund asset development on this project is critical, I think, along with other funds that will be available, which they will address to help this project come to fruition. Jody, I'll take it from there. You got...
No, you set it up perfectly. You set up the pins, I'll knock them down.
Started, no disrespect, would you care to put that back on?
Sure, absolutely.
It's a proven fact that when you're talking, you're...
Aspirating?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And I appreciate
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
We're
your
gonna get Phil to
protection.
wear two, so.
What now?
So we're gonna get Phil to wear two masks, he's talking a lot, so. He's
very
asked
good.
for
Well, I've
another
got
one.
my mask on, don't worry about it.
Well, thank you very much, Judge, and appreciate the opportunity to come and bring you an update. With the support of the fiscal court that you gave at a previous meeting, the Danville-Boyle County Airport Board moved forward to apply for EDA funds. In this funding cycle, you may be aware that Congress added another $1.75 billion to EDA funds through the CARES Act, and so it was a prime opportunity to apply for this particular project, which I think has great opportunities to help Boyle County emerge and thrive through and after, hopefully, I believe, ultimately from the pandemic. And in doing so, it is a $1.8 million project, approximately. for this facility to be added, actually on the Lincoln County side of the line. It is a joint project among Lincoln County, EKU, and we're joined here by Melissa Newman, who is EKU's expert in the grants area, and she'll be able to respond to any questions you may have. Bluegrass Area Development District is the agency that is managing the preparation of the process, and that has now completed the state clearinghouse hurdle. No objections were rendered during the state clearinghouse process. That has to be done as a local requirement before any federal funds are requested in such an application as this. So we are waiting to finalize the exact number that we will apply for by way of the matching funds that will be necessary. EDA funds are 80-20 and requiring a 20% match. It's been strongly recommended by EDA that we target a 30% match, if not more, to be most attractive for funding. For Kentucky, we know that $31 million out of the Atlanta district has been committed to Kentucky. We expect, because they said the sweet spot of applications are going to be right around 3 million, that there will be about 10 to 11 to 12 projects funded in Kentucky. So following that, we know that it's going to be a very competitive situation for these funds. However, the good news, as I've discussed with the judge, this is an ongoing cycle. We just know that there's a big barrel of funds dumped into this cycle, and if need be, we could go back through the process starting in October. So there will be another bite at the apple, but there will be a limited amount of funds to compete for. But this is probably, and we have been told by the Bluegrass Area Development District, that it is the best project with the greatest opportunity for funding, not only because of its regionalism with EKU, with Lincoln County, with the Danville-Boyle County Airport. And so we went immediately to the top of BGAD's group of projects that they wanted to administer and prepare on our behalf. So that was good news. Yes. So we are awaiting what the match will be. There are both construction and non-construction components to these grant funds, and so we are awaiting some final directions from EKU as well as the Appalachian Regional Commission because of the mix of dollars that are supporting EKU's larger aviation technology program. And so we need to identify how much that will be for us to go forward and file the application. But there's not a deadline for application. When these funds were announced, it was going to be a rolling process. And so we know that we're not going to run out of time, but there's going to be a lot of competition for these dollars regardless of the amount. And so we want to be prepared to get as early into the process to ask for our share as possible. So if you have any questions from me on behalf of the airport board and others, Ethan is here. He
I'll
can
just
address
say a word on
EKU's
behalf of
portion.
EKU. I'm Ethan Witt with EKU. My colleague, Dr. Melissa Newman. EKU's been involved in an ongoing conversation with this community about how we can be a spoke in the wheel of economic opportunity in and around aviation and in and around Stewart Powell Field, and this community has tremendous potential there. We're well known for our 4-year flight program. We train a whole lot of pilots at EKU, but under Dr. Newman's leadership, we're in the process of launching a new segment, and that is aircraft maintenance technician certifications. It's a new area for us, and it's something that we're working through. It's a program that was approved by Appalachian Regional Commission, as Jody mentioned. And that's what we're excited to bring to this community, and we're going through the process of finalizing this application, and we look forward to being a partner with this community for many years to come.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like an exciting
Judge,
project.
I'd like to mention and give kudos to Magistrate Cullen, because he and I were in a meeting at Boyle County High School summer last year, and I learned a great deal about what this can bring to this community. And what was the scale for these maintenance men and women?
Oh, it's way
Six
up there.
figures.
6 figures very early on in their career, very early.
So it would be an incredible boon to our community. And of course, being a graduate in 1969 of Eastern, I'm glad to see you all here too.
And I will say one more thing. This grant that Jody and the local community are applying for will complete the facility that this would be housed in. EKU has the funds available already that would equip the program. It's very costly to launch an aircraft maintenance technician site. Thanks to the General Assembly and their investment in our aviation program, we do have the resources once that building is secured to finish that and equip that and get the program launched.
With the ground for this across the county line, has that been acquired? Is it in the process, or just? And would there be an access road required, or what?
It's actually within the airport proper, because
It
approximately 2/3 of the airport is in Lincoln County today.
Okay. I've learned something there.
Yes, so that's just another reason we need to be thinking regionally with our surrounding counties, and the airport is the perfect example. So the land is there. There will need to be a taxiway and other things built into that project, but still it's 1.8 million.
I guess the reason I asked that question was I understood there was a discussion last year about some area just across the line.
Yeah, but that's different.
Different subject. I will say that due to the hard work of a group out of the airport, Jamie Payton has done great work with that program that we discussed with the school, a year and a half ago. She's actually been able to bring it full circle, and as far as I know, they will be implementing that program not only at Boyle County but also at Danville. And so we'll have a great opportunity to have kids go through that AOPA program and then feed right into the EKU program that's here, keeping more kids here, which also could assist with economic development, where we can bring in different manufacturers, different whatever, with a workforce ready, and that could really help Boyle County and Lincoln County and the surrounding counties as kids are looking for not just jobs but careers. So.
And is JCTC in the loop in any way? BCTC?
Not specifically with this program, because it's a specific program for EKU, but if there's other possibilities for relationships, they will be there.
Jody, I know it's off subject a little bit, but it's an interest to me, and I'm sorry, ma'am. How are we coming on the building, BCTC? How's it
It's on
progressing?
process and
Is it
on time.
schedule?
So yes, it's on schedule, and if you'll go out just past the
Well, I've been
campus on
past it,
11
but I
Road, or
yeah.
come in from the backside, it looks very nice.
Yeah.
Was the question about our partnerships with the community colleges locally here?
Yes.
Okay. So to address that, one of the things that we did and we have been doing before implementing this process is we've met with the folks in Somerset. We've also met with the folks at JCTC. And we are a partner with them. They don't really view us as competition because of the geographical distance in a lot of these areas. So where it makes sense, we will refer to them, and where it makes sense for them, they will refer to us.
Thank you.
I know
Thank you.
some of the people out there that owns land got kind of wind of this. I heard they was going up on their prices on their property, so.
It's a very delicate balance.
And delicate subject. I say we move on.
It's a free market for you.
But the big thing here I want the court to know is, or to bear in mind, that there will come a point, John, I know you want to ask a question. There will come a point where we need to appropriate, and we've set aside $30,000 to go toward this project in an asset development vein. John, go ahead.
Well, I've got this a couple of questions. First one is, Tom, would you like to share your GPA when you graduated with us?
Probably not.
Thank you. That answers that
Did
first
better
one.
in graduate school.
Second one is,
I
Jody.
was married.
I read and I hear that there's a lot of folks up in the Northeast who are considering moving because of lots of reasons. Does this project open itself up to attracting those types of folks up there in some way to market what's going on up there? Plus, just marketing to the Northeast just to come first come to Kentucky, second Central Kentucky, third Boyle County.
Right.
It looks to me as if the Northeast people are taking small businesses and big businesses are thinking about quality of life for their employees may not be where they presently are. And maybe they're looking at making changes. are we opening the door to where they'll take a look at us? Somebody to tell our story. Is that going on?
It's not only the Northeast, but it's any metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And definitely a move not only to the suburbs, but beyond. There's a great article today, I believe, in the Wall Street Journal about the move from the New York metro area to Connecticut. So you're going to be seeing those kind of short distance retreats into more what I would call rural or less populated areas. So yes, we have our marketing and recruitment committee has a task force which is focusing on what we're calling the boldly resilient effort, hashtag boldly resilient, that we can communicate how we've been able to navigate through the COVID situation, how that we've not been pressed with our health care, our other services, and how the community has come together, and how our economy has rebounded, particularly on the industrial side. We still have struggles in the hospitality and retail and restaurant sides just simply because of the restrictions that we have. But yes, we are trying to design what is the best way to communicate that and who to communicate that to.
Good. I think it's an opportunity.
Yes.
That it's gonna come very often, hopefully.
Sure.
But we need to tell our story. We need to show off a little bit, if you may. And when I see this from a CVB, and I look at the room tax comparison by month, and I see that in March of 19, it was 18,007. In March of 20, it was 9,003.
Right.
And when I look at April in 19, it was 20,003 versus the year of 20, it's 4,008. When I look at May of 19, it's 23,400. When I look at May of this year, it's 1,002. And then I look at June, it was 22,000 last year. It's $45 this year.
Right.
When the hotels take a hit, everything takes a hit, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
And we just need to build back, and now's an opportunity to build.
In terms of that type of recruitment, years ago, 30 years ago, when I flew all over the country, I loved to pick up real estate books in every major city that I flew to and look at the cost of my home in Kentucky and what the home, what the room I would rent or own in those major cities. And I'd encourage you to try to get a hold of some of those real estate books and start showing people the incredible value of living in our region and particularly in Boyle County, because it's an eye-opener how remarkably, if my little brother would move from Syracuse, he could own a castle here with the small home that he and his family have up there.
It's all online today, and you can definitely do a comparison of community to community by way of cost of living.
It would be great to have a chart like that for us to look at and use in all of our conversations.
To bring a little bit of peace and calmness to this, I can tell you that these numbers that they have several months to get the tax dollars to us.
That's true.
So there's money still coming in for these months. This does hurt my heart a lot, but I've seen and had phone calls about Airbnbs that are full around this town, and I go by, the hotels and they're full. So, I mean, we will not see 19 numbers, but I do believe we'll see a very large uptick in this. But back to kind of the reason that we're here, I think this is going to probably be one of the most important things that we do in this community for a very long time. This is an opportunity that we don't get very often. We see a lot of empty buildings throughout this community, and this is an opportunity to help possibly fill some of those buildings. Aviation, we are in an area we're not close to a lot of things that are attractive to a lot of big businesses. We're far away from interstates. We're far away from a lot of things, but that's actually not a bad thing. That's a great thing because I love being here and the quiet town that we have. But we have a fantastic airport that has a lot of area around it. And a lot of possibility around it, and we have a great regional partnership that's working on this. And so, if we want to see good jobs here, not losing our best and brightest, we really just need to not only look at that $30,000, but what more can we do to assist the airport and to assist great schools like EKU coming here and helping us better our community. So
what do you need from us today?
Just here to provide an update.
Yep.
Well, I need, if the fiscal court wishes, I need the fiscal court to certify that you want to allocate that budget line item to this project on this day. So when they start putting
When they're
maps
ready for it,
together,
just-
we can write a letter saying that the fiscal court has earmarked this money for
I'll make
the,
that motion.
I'll second.
It-
thank you.
I'll
Motion
second.
made, the money we're talking about is the 30,000 asset development money, okay?
That's the money, really, that was money that was from last year, is it not, Mary?
That, because there's two, you have two line items in your budget. One was specifically put in as asset development for the airport, which was a carryover from last year.
Last year.
And then you also have an additional 30,000 that is separate from, you all allocated, instead of giving that to economic development for their asset development portion of the budget, you all set aside your own 30,000 asset development.
It basically said, come and present us a plan and a reason.
Precisely.
Well, if we're gonna keep adding to that line item and reserving that money, so when and if we have somebody who comes in who needs some asset development to come here, we have funds available, hoping the city will help us along with that.
I'll second that motion, Judge.
It's already been seconded.
Oh, excuse me.
Motion was made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by
Magistrate Short.
Magistrate Short, okay. Any more discussion on the, motion to approve the, authorization to obligate the line item budget for this project?
Just a note for the record, it was Magistrate Kaywood's idea a year ago to do this, and I'd like to credit him with the foresight of giving us this opportunity to make this motion and get it approved today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you all very much
Thank you.
for looking to come into the community and bring this opportunity. It's
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
beyond exciting.
General, myself, both aviation people, I mean, I see it. I mean, I'm flying in Lexington right now, and I see, just from the maintenance side, I've had to cancel quite a few lessons because the planes have been down, and these guys are just cranking out stuff. So, you know, with UPS and Amazon here, the opportunities are great for our community. So thank you all very much. Thanks for
Okay.
Yeah, call the question so that they can see the vote.
All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you for coming in.
Good to see you.
Ethan, good to see you.
We done for
Jenna,
the day?
thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I don't know if Sheriff, let's go back up to Larry McKinney. Larry doesn't have to be here. Sheriff, come on in. We're talking about Larry McKinney. Consider amendment to the McKinney contract effective July 1, 2020 through October 31, 2020 to provide additional cleaning services at Constitution Square.
I'll make that motion.
Before we do that, it's not on here, and I wanted it to be on here, and we just didn't get on there, is that we need to approve his annual contract, which we can do. It ends July 31st, to extend it for 1 year at the same rate, which we can do. And I would like to vote on that first, to approve his contract extension for the courthouse, and then come back and approve the amendment, if that's okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Savage to approve the McKinney cleaning contract for 1
His
year.
contract was much less than the others that we
Much
had
less,
as
yes.
well, so that's fine.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Now, the amendment, as I stated, this is for additional COVID-19 cleaning at Constitution Square. Everybody understand what that's about?
I don't see how we, the only question I have, I don't see how we can get him to do that for $300 a month, but I'll make a motion.
But we've been down there, we surveyed it with
I'll
him
second it.
in person, and he agreed to that, okay? So,
I'll make a motion to approve it. He seconded.
who made the motion?
I did.
Magistrate Simmons and seconded by Magistrate Cullen. On the amendment for the COVID-19 cleaning at the Constitution Square, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and motion carries. Thank you. All right, Sheriff, we got a couple of things. That's okay, Dwayne, we'll be right there.
I'll be right back.
Okay, it says here that approval, well, this is the presentation of audit for sheriff's settlement. Did we already do that? I thought we did.
No, they have a variety of audits.
A variety of audits.
But this is their tax settlement audit that has just been released, so.
I'll make that motion.
So it's just being presented to the fiscal court for the record, because the auditors always ask if the fiscal court has seen, the other elected officials' audits, and so we do this very easily by just putting it on the agenda, and I don't have to dig that information up.
Thank you. Acknowledge that the audit has no negative findings on the sheriff.
Right.
Or his office.
It's a good audit.
Good audit.
Perfect.
That's because it's got good help.
That's right. Absolutely.
But you're still looking.
That's right, yeah, yeah.
The next thing is, the sheriff has a couple of old cruisers. They're both, I think, Dodges.
One's a 2010 and one's a 2012.
2010 and 12, and they're high mileage vehicles that I want to surplus and get off our inventory and quit paying insurance on them.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And as part of that motion, if y'all would allow me, I'd like for us to consider disposing of those surplus vehicles. I have a request from the Nicholas County judge. Nicholas County is a huge county of a total population of 7,000. They would like to come down and at least see them and look at them and see. Virtually, these cars are 10 and 8 years old and 200,000 plus miles each. Gentlemen, I would propose, y'all want me to try to get something for them from the judge, but I would propose they're virtually just good.
They drive them off as is.
Get what you can, get rid of them.
And there might not be much I can get, okay?
They run.
I'd like to.
We
We'll
haven't
throw Tom in if it's
we
legal.
haven't driven them in a while. I'm assuming they'll need batteries, and if to make them roadworthy, they're going to need some routine maintenance. They may need brakes, rotors, oil change, things along those lines. But they ran when we were finished with them. So
Why don't we just be good Samaritans and give them to them?
That would be my choice because it's a small, it's a small county.
I'll amend that motion by making that statement.
Okay, with these high mileage two cruisers that we surplus and get them off our inventory and offer them to Nicholas County at no cost to them, but no cost to us either.
My only issue is that we didn't do that for another county.
That's right.
We actually kind of went the opposite, like,
Well,
sheriff was willing to.
No, they gave us $400.
Yeah, sheriff was willing to give them away, and we kind of gave them a hard.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me a bit.
So if we can get something great, I mean, even if it's $500, whatever, I think we get something, and then if they can't afford it, then give them a fist bump and be on.
These are two cars that the fiscal court bought, so that whatever you get would go to the fiscal court. It's not; these aren't cars that I purchased from my budget at any time.
Well, do you want to leave it at my discretion
Yes.
to get something, or if they plead for?
If they want to make a donation, let it be so. If they don't,
because they're not okay. Let's do
That'll
that.
work. That'll work.
Have them eat at one of our local establishments and contribute to the economy and call it a day.
Is there any other discussion? Do we have a motion
Yes.
to allow for these to be surplused and disposed of at my discretion at a negotiated agreement?
That's what my motion is.
Okay.
I second it.
All right. Motion made by Mr. Cullen, seconded by Major Simmons, if I'm not mistaken. And any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How are your officers? Everything
Good. Everybody's healthy right now.
Good.
So.
And congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Can I ask him a question that is not on this subject?
Uh-oh.
It pertains to his office.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. As time has gone on over the last couple of months, it has become more apparent to me, and I don't know how the court feels, and that's kind of, I'm just throwing it out. Body cameras for our deputies is so critical for lots of reasons that I have observed, reading newspapers, seeing situations, you might say, that it is critical to protect your people. And it's just important to protect everybody that's involved in an incident.
Yep, I agree.
It tells a story.
I agree.
In any way that we can help or hurry up the financing to get you taken care of, would you agree with me or in the court that the sooner the better?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm the, I guess the climate, for lack of better terms, I would love to have them. I'm confident that our guys are doing the right things.
I know.
And I think it is needed to ensure public trust, so if somebody asks.
Exactly.
And also to protect our guys from false accusations.
That's right.
So I'm all for it. And we've talked and met with some camera companies, and really the one company that we've met with is the one that Danville uses. To me, those are the most transparent set of cameras that we could have, because there is no,
on the market,
it's the only camera that offers these features. And so if you were to interact with someone and you're like, oh man, that's going to generate a complaint, you can hit a button and it'll pre-record the whole 30 minutes prior to that conversation, because you may be interacting with somebody and not turn your camera on because you don't think it's going to go a specific direction. But these automatically record that anyway, so that it kind of takes the guesswork out of, well, why didn't he record that? You know.
I throw this out because I'm thinking, do the other magistrates feel the same way?
Yes.
We need to do this as quickly.
Well, let's ask for the next court session, if the sheriff is available, to allow for the presentation from WatchGuard, that just a few minutes, like a 10 or 15 minute presentation. Maybe some statement of proposed cost associated with it, and that way everybody can hear what he and I have heard.
The reoccurring cost is, I think, a lot of the
is a lot of the cost.
is a lot of the hiccup in the process, because you don't just buy them and use them. Depending on the number of cameras you have, it was $1,000 a month per
car officer.
Officer, because you have a body camera on that syncs up with your car camera, and it's $495, I think, for each camera, for the storage of that.
One for the car, one for the officer.
So if you're talking about getting 18, you're at a minimum of $18,000 of storage monthly, and then you've got maintenance and
a lot of money.
Insurance
I think we better just ride
warranties
along.
on these cameras.
I think we better just ride along like we are.
Or you decide who
Until.
is critical to have them.
Yeah.
You know, is it?
Well, I don't plan on getting them for court security and things along those lines. This courthouse has got plenty of recording devices in it to capture anything that we may or may not need to see. My only would be the guys that are working the street. That's my.
In schools?
Because
you said 18. You only have
that's,
actually.
The schools were my 18. The schools were my 18, and then the backup car that we would have a camera in it also, and it may be 17, but I don't have my numbers in front of you. That was just off the top of my head.
And I want to say that I agree with your point, and with you, Sheriff. I think this is extremely important, and we need to move in this direction. It's just how do we budgetarily get there?
Right.
And that's the big question. Is whose budget pays for it? Is this the sheriff's budget? Is this the fiscal court's
The
budget?
initial is $260,000, right?
Yeah.
380, I heard.
I'm sorry.
380.
Well, that would be the annual cost if we paid it annually. Remember, if it was going to be about $66,000 annually if we broke it up over a 6-month contract, and then it came up to 380, something along those lines. I don't know the.
You get a discount if you pay for it up front.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and then you just pay for your storage after that and your
Storage
warranties.
after that.
But if you have to purchase those, like you would get all 15, 18, whatever it is, initially, you just pay an annual fee over that 6-year.
And it can be amortized
contract.
in a zero interest.
And it's a zero interest contract.
6 years.
You just pay for it over time as opposed to coming up with one lump sum.
My point is that we don't let this slip by, we don't sit on it, and if Chris would agree, and he reads a whole lot more about this probably than what I see, if you had to defend it, you'd probably like to have something to work with.
I mean, definitely, it would be nice to have body cams for everybody. And it's helpful, especially like in DUI situations.
Go up on payroll.
I think that it's very important to have the body cams. So definitely, I would agree to protect us, protect everyone, transparency-wise. If we can afford it or get some grants or whatever, it would be wonderful to have body cams. And I was surprised, like, I was in court fairly recently and had a Kentucky State police trooper up on a stand, and they don't have body cams either for all their vehicles. So that surprised me. So, I mean, it's not like Boyle County Sheriff's Department's the only department
In the state
that doesn't have cameras. There's a lot of them. And it's
The last I saw, there's
from
about a
here.
third. About a third of law enforcement agencies in the state have body camera. That's the last thing I saw.
Can we do anything with the ones, like maybe resell them, the ones that actually are sitting in this building somewhere?
We probably could. I mean, I couldn't give them any warranty. They're not worth anything. But somebody that may not.
Any idea if we should surplus those, get rid of those? Because we're not using them, they're just sitting here.
Are you talking about those?
Those old raggedy mic cams that
We bought and never opened the box.
well we used them, and then they would only last about 2 hours and would not stay charged, and they just we got in trouble.
Why
in
did
court
we know
for-
this when we bought them?
Well, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, the fiscal court bought them, what,
Didn't know what we
3
were
years
doing.
ago?
That's probably longer than that.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's longer than it was before I was sheriff.
But we spent what, 27,000 or something?
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on them and never did use them.
I thought they were gonna go back, to tell you the truth.
Well, we never
Yeah, they
did.
were supposed to be
Were
returned.
they not? I thought, that's
But
what
the
I read.
individual who
But we
was
never
re-
did send them back.
Yeah, they didn't send them back.
Yeah.
I think we're getting off point here a
Yeah,
little
we
bit,
are.
so I'm gonna bring us back.
Yeah.
We'll get a brief from the sheriff and watch guard, at, either the next court session, the first one in August,
Okay.
whatever works out for it,
Okay.
for
Thank you
our
for letting me
customer.
bring it up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But
And,
can we get rid of the cameras though while he's here?
I don't know
I
what
don't
you
know
would
if
do
they-
with them.
Who would want them?
Yeah, try
There
to.
might be a smaller little town that might want them. I mean, it might be.
I'll ask
all over
around.
Madison County.
I'll ask around to some of the other agencies, and I'll have information when I come back the next time.
Thank you.
I can do that.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
Derek.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sheriff. Appreciate it.
Yes,
You can
sir.
send
Be
Wayne
safe.
in.
Thank you.
Come back to us.
It's not much of a mask. Sure.
That gator.
A lot of them have them, thanks.
I'm ordering a bunch of those for the shop, so I'll get you one, okay?
Because they live out that way.
It'll say the hub on it.
Late up.
All right, Dwayne.
All right. You should have before you, I hope, a list of projects that we're proposing to complete with our flex funds. You probably have the list is probably two-part.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
also,
It's all on one
we
page,
have an
yeah.
LGA list, which we've already approved.
Dwayne, I'm sorry to start off, but Houstonville Road, what section is this?
That's when you would turn, if you're going south on the new highway, you turn, that's County Road, around to the city limits.
Oh, on Popplewell?
No,
No, on Junction.
down the junction, or just
Oh,
before
you're
junction.
talking about down Junction.
Just before junction. That section of Old Road
Yes.
is a county road,
Oh, okay, yes.
okay? And then, of course, you can turn left back off of that into the little subdivision that we
Yes.
maintain back in there too,
Park Hills.
Park Hills.
Okay.
So this is the old state road, or a portion of the old state road there. Getting in bad shape, isn't it, Ronnie?
Yeah, it
How quick are you gonna get to some of these?
Excuse me?
How quick are we gonna get to some of these?
All right, the LGEA funds, I've already spoken, I spoke to Allen Company yesterday, matter of fact, I'm gonna speak to them again this afternoon or in the morning. The LGEA projects we can release to them, so it'll just be a matter of them getting them in their schedule to get done, okay? The flex funds, after you approve them today, then we have to submit them to Frankfurt, and then they will send us back an agreement that we have to sign, and we have to send back to them, and they gotta sign it and send back to us, so it takes a while.
Be
to get
next
the paperwork.
year.
Huh?
Be
No,
next
we'll get it late summer. We'll get it late summer, early fall, but it'll take probably a couple months.
Okay.
At least, before we get to those. So what I'm proposing before you, we're proposing for you today is the bottom half of that list, the flex fund list. And those projects will be done with the proposed 140,000 and change money that the state tells us that we're going to receive in flex funds. Now, I recently received, in a recent conversation with them, that amount has been reduced, but they never did send us a contract or an agreement. So they reduced it by about 17,000, but that may come back up because they're recalculating all their numbers and seeing how things come in. So that we may be back closer to the 140 when we actually get to the point of getting the agreement from them. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, these what we got? 5 projects there: Rankin Road, Little Needmore Road, Worthington Road, Stony Point Road, a portion of Stony Point,
Some of that in your area.
and then Johnson Street and Greenview Drive. Johnson Street goes along with Stewart Street. If you see Stewart in the LGEA list, Johnson Street is the other street there just outside of Perryville that we maintain, just south of Perryville on Mitchellsburg Road. And then Greenview Drive is a little subdivision as you go down Perryville Road where Richard Campbell lives, that little subdivision about halfway between here and Perryville. So I would propose at this point, if we do get reduced by 13,000, that we probably will not do that last project. We probably will not do Greenview this year. We'll probably put it on the list.
Is that that little short connector street?
No, it's the first right.
Okay.
They go straight back. And then the connector is Metal Arc, and then the next street is Hayes.
Okay. Metal Arc, okay.
Yep. Okay.
Do you need a motion?
Any other questions about where they are or whatever?
No. We want the 2 separate motions. One to approve the flex project as presented, flex fund projects, and then a second motion to approve the LGA resurfacing list.
No, we've already approved the LGA. We had
Okay.
a public hearing for that. That just had to be on the same sheet of paper, and I brought it back to you so you remember what we approved already.
Move we approve the flex project as presented.
Second.
All right, motion made by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Short. Any discussion on these or any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
All right, a second part of the business concerning that, and this is more of a housekeeping item. Back in February, we advertised for bids for both stone and for asphalt in place. And so we have a current asphalt in place contract or bid amount of $84.30 a ton in place. I would like to, I guess, get your approval to complete these projects utilizing this bid price that we currently have, which is good until the end of December of this year.
Make the motion.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Short, second by Magistrate Sammons to approve these contract prices. And any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign. Motion carries.
Does that cover everything when you do on that, Mary? Okay, okay, all right.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Couple of quick acknowledgments I would like to make while I'm here. I'm sure that we did say something, but I want to say another word of thanks to our Danville Garden Club who helped us plant the flowers at Governor's Circle, and to John for pitching in and helping too. He didn't have any choice, but but they did a wonderful job, and the flowers are growing and flourishing. And
a lot of that, planting is one thing, but I think there's been some really good TLC given to them on a very regular basis.
James is doing
James
great.
has done a wonderful job and a regular job of taking care of them, and they're showing it. So
Yeah. Look good.
Let's
Look
give
great.
them credit too.
yeah, yes. And then the other acknowledgement was that the DAR ladies were down last week and cleaned the inside of the cabins for us in preparation for our reopening of the park. And so we appreciate their efforts to come down helping us out for that. And then other things you can announce later if you like, or if you want to announce the flag.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay, because you and I need to discuss the flagpole too, so.
Yeah.
We got information for that. So anyway, and then just a couple of updates. The state mowing contractors are in our county. There is two different sets of contractors. So the contractors that are in our county now are the ones that are mowing US 127 and 150. So if you see those folks out mowing right of ways, you've seen them out. But they're just, that's all their contract is. So you'll see them disappear and you'll wonder, well, what happened? Why did they do the rest of them? Well, there's two different contracts, okay? So I don't have any date on the other group yet as to when they'll be in our county. So just to let you know about that.
Let me comment on that because of what you educated me on. Apparently, they're only mowing a 10-foot strip in many places this year, and it's caused a problem in my district, and I know, looking around the table, at least 3 others might want to pay attention to this, because I heard from a council member in Eastwood, that's where I used to live, in Perryville, that the Johnson grass is 4.5 to 5 feet high in a very blind curve, and we've got hay trucks out all the time right now, and it's a dangerous situation, and the burden's on Dwayne to twist the arm of the state to say, hey, you got to be wider on some of these places. So you might want to check in your areas, drive around a little bit, because I've been doing that, and there's a lot more than just that one curve, because they're not mowing as wide this year to save state funds.
Dwayne,
I don't know about this next trip, but that's what they did the first trip.
Dwayne, I haven't checked, but out in front of the courthouse, ex-magistrate Jack Hendricks, I think, sent everyone a text that some weeds or bushes or something blocking the memorial when you come down the street.
The Veterans Memorial.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're coming down, it must be the shrubs. It must not be weeds. If you're,
Well,
I'll look at it.
He says limbs or something.
Shrubs, I think.
The shrubs have probably grown out some and covered
Well,
some of
and if you look at the monument, I walk by it every day, going to the bank. There's a dead bush right next to one side of the monument,
Okay.
and there's a
All right.
whole bunch of weeds that have grown
That's
within
what he-
some other
yeah.
bushes that
That's probably what
it
he's-
needs to be cleaned up
Yeah, he says that's-
and landscaped
All right.
a little differently.
Yeah, he's just now stating, sent me a text that it's a disgrace.
Okay.
So,
I'll work with Larry on that too. Larry looks after just kind of the mowing and that type of thing. But
Yeah,
I'll
but
work
this
with
is
him.
all around the monument, it has
Okay.
nothing to do with the lawn.
Okay.
You guys might want to look at the corner of Boffman and Goggin, because you can't see coming out of there, and that's kind of dangerous. A lot of people speed coming through there to go to the convenience center.
Ghost bug, not.
Thank you.
Ghost bike, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. We'll be mowing that tomorrow.
Good.
We mow that for the city. That's one of the things that we do for the city, among many other places that we mow for them when we're out mowing. So we do share our
what's
equipment.
Tom doing over in my district?
Huh?
What's he doing over in my district?
Who? Oh.
I'm helping keep your convenience center open.
As one of our distinguished magistrates would say, we're moving right along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the final item I have, and I'm out of here, we'll be moving the playground equipment Thursday to Junction City.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Moving
Thank you,
right
Dwayne.
along, moving
I
right
need to
along,
ask you
Judge.
one thing before you leave. What about the bridges and stuff? Wasn't we gonna do one on Stewart's Lane right there at the railroad? You know,
Okay, yes, we need to look at that. Yes, that money is still, I just found that out. That money is intact, still
Okay.
available. So we need to develop, yes.
Moving right along.
So I'll talk with you more about that.
Okay, all right,
I have not, but I'll try to call her. Yeah.
I'll call you later on.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you
Dwayne.
much.
Have a good day.
All right, Treasurer Conley, we're down to J.
I'm presenting May financial statements and then you have your Constitution Square information that is being circulated.
We have the,
None of those require any kind of formal.
Moving right along.
and the acceptance of the CVB
Yep, those are your main, yeah.
financial and budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
On CVB, where, are they at their new location?
I don't think so.
They're talking about a small increase in operations to account for increase in rent in their minutes.
Given their cut to their budget, I don't think they should be doing that at all.
Okay, I'm not aware of them being in a new location, but.
As far as I know, they're not. They're not even at their location now.
Let's go around the room for new business, and I'll start. We'll go numerically. Tom?
I do want to comment because I've been in touch with Jody and others about the Parksville Dollar General store. I've actually talked both with Dwayne and Steve Hunter about this as well. In site preparation, and I'm only speculating saying this because I'm no engineer, but apparently there may, qualifying word, not have been due diligence on flooding that has happened on that triangle of property in the past, long before Dollar General was looking at it. The however is, that's been exacerbated by the construction of the store and the parking area to the point where there's flooding that's never happened in over 30 years onto private properties there. Unfortunately, at this point, after 2 emails talking to the, first I talked to the engineer, and after 2 emails and no response, I'm hoping, obviously, that there must be a concern because the engineering firm has not responded to my 2 emails. And just wanted to make you aware of it because we're right next door with our districts, and it's an issue that's headed toward some difficulty, I'd say. Chris, have I actually sent you something or just talked to you briefly that we need the language on what the folks in both Perryville and Forkland would do in terms of absolving the court of any liabilities when they come to get that equipment? I know it was talked about in the last meeting.
I can't remember if you.
Okay, I'll get with you on that. Very important, particularly with respect to taxing districts, as of tomorrow, the new laws all go into effect, and we need clarifications on, I believe it's SB 5, on what our rights are in terms of more than just getting a cursory review of budgets from special taxing districts. It's my understanding from that statute as it passed, and I saw a summary after it went into law, that if the regs are written the way the law is written, that we will have some ability to hold taxing districts accountable when they come to us for any increases in their budgets. I spoke briefly with the sheriff on the way out. We have some real opportunities out of some major cities because officers file pensions, they're leaving, and they can afford to live here much better than that. So I'm going to get with the sheriff on that because I have 2 retired New York City cops in my district. They're great folks, and I want to sit down with the sheriff and talk about that. I have not had a drink in 37 years, but I do look with favor that we consider a referendum. But I spoke last week with Magistrate Cullen, and we're on the cusp of losing the opportunity for that petition to go through. What are we, 1,000 short right now?
Probably about 1,000 to 1,500, yeah.
We have to have 2,500 in order to have a
2,600, yeah.
Referendum. So if anybody has an interest, I'm interested in looking at it. It has its pluses and minuses. It has some certain pluses economically for the community, but obviously I have concerns.
It gives the voters the opportunity to say yes or no whether they want it in the county.
And I know that folks in our shared area of the district there are part of that process, and I'd just like to bring it to the public attention. As Magistrate Cullen said, let the public decide. And I've already mentioned the mowing situation, so you might want to check in your districts. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
Anything? Where's it going?
Moving right along.
Moving right along.
Okay.
No, I think I'm good, actually.
I don't have anything.
You okay?
The good news is, I started out with 5 topics. Excuse me, that was the bad news. The good news is I'm down to 1. I've worked my way in through the meeting down to 1. So I don't know how many of you all have read this, voted on it. Not to the best of my ability has this been presented to us. It's called the Constitutional Square Park Rental Agreement. Chris, have you seen this?
The constitutional.
Rental agreement, Constitution Square rental agreement.
We actually had it on the agenda twice, and we need to get back to it.
I mean, I have reviewed it because, I mean, there's some issue about some people are wanting to have events and like the insurance requirement.
You have seen it. I'm glad you've seen it. My point, Judge, and I'm going to be transparent. Family. I've been non-profit organization. The grounds over there for something. Do with what they don't. All they want to do is to maybe have a meeting or just something.
Who are you talking about them?
Okay, well, the garden club. Now, non-profit, she might want to do something. The DRA for insurance, to purchase insurance. I feel like there's a lot of good nonprofits that do a lot of good things for this community. Now, what the garden club wanted to do, regardless of the virus, but if it's possible to do, they were going to pay for somebody to come and work with the county maintenance people, and I wish Dwayne had stayed. He was there last year. City, park, John Bell's group, talk about how to prune, take care of trees, things like that, and they were going to do it at Constitution Square. They did this last year. This is one of their projects that they do. They require insurance, and it's we need to pass because we're involved in making some decisions that are stated in here. So
You've already passed that agreement.
I thought we'd addressed that already.
Well, we passed that agreement when the fiscal court purchased Constitution Square. One of the things is that working with CVB, the fiscal court and CVB created this rental agreement. And
is this the same one?
Yeah, it's the same one. You all passed it, and it's been used the same way ever since we purchased.
Would you say it was followed?
I can't answer that because it was CVB who administered all of those
I
on their own.
I don't remember seeing it, but if it was a long time ago.
No, it was a fiscal court approved agreement. Because it was used on our behalf on our property.
Could we be possible to look at it again and see if it fits in today's times? I just think it needs to be looked at it again.
Why don't we put it on the agenda? Why don't we get every magistrate and myself get a copy of that to review?
I don't have enough for everybody.
You don't?
No, but I have enough.
Well, we have a copy in our office. And
we can email it to everybody.
Yeah.
You can email it.
And can send that out.
And see anything you want to add, but there are some things in there that I think need to be looked at again since we're taking it over and we'll be.
Let's put it on the agenda for next time to discuss.
I want a copy of that if I could to make sure it's the same one that I have in my file from when we first did this.
I copied the one that
Jennifer
Martha had.
Oh, that came from CBB, so I don't know if CBB modified it without fiscal court approval.
I'll take them, but I don't think we should have them.
Just pass it on over here.
Here's my.
Yeah, if you got extras, let us.
Here's my
Jason,
point,
pass it over
Judge.
here.
You guys want them passed around?
My
She
point-
wants one of
they're
those.
extras.
Keep it down, keep it down.
My point is,
I'm gonna leave them here, you guys can come get them, because
my
we really
point
shouldn't be touching
is,
a lot of stuff.
is let's be fair, and I know, obviously, I've got, but we want people using it.
Sure
We don't want to put roadblocks in the way of using it. Common sense is the way to use it.
Mary, didn't we, I thought the finance committee addressed some of these issues.
I thought we looked at
And we did, and John and I had this conversation just this past week, that I think he says, we waived all fees.
Right.
But one of the things that this says, it's $100 deposit, but you get it back
You
if
get it
you're,
back.
when you're done.
If we
So-
vote on it, it says the court has to approve it. It's in that on that first page about the second paragraph.
Well, I would suggest that the finance committee,
Or
with
third
John's
person.
help, we look at that again and see if there are any other adjustments that
Do
we
you-
can make to it.
Do you read that the way I did, that the court has to make that determination on the refund of the deposit?
Oh, no, I didn't, it says the damage deposit refundable in the event that,
After the event has determined. It's like, we gotta go do inventory,
Yeah.
if everything looks all right.
See, and that doesn't need to be there, does it, Chris?
Yeah, no, because I agree with what you're saying. The finance committee, even in our waiving of the fees, one of our goals was to make it more user-friendly, so we can.
but we didn't address this.
We need,
Clean it
that
up.
needs to be
We need
addressed.
to clean it up. That's my point. I appreciate the time to do that, Judge. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna get us out here pretty quick. I will say this, that, out of respect to each and every one of you on the court, that, I have a couple of nominations, that I didn't want to convolute with this court session. I'm asking Ann to send out a recommendation for the library board that, I have, selected. I made a recommendation. I want you guys to see it. You know, that is a recommendation that comes to the judge from the library in Frankfurt, the state librarian. I get to choose two names, and I chose one, and I'm going to present both of them to you, but a recommendation of one. The other one is there is an explanation of two vacancies on the fire protection board coming forth. I have some nominations on that I want you to be aware of coming in for the next court session. To give me feedback on what you think. If I don't hear anything, we'll vote on it on what is today, the 28th or thereabouts, okay? Does that sound all right? And the other thing is, I've called a couple times, and I don't know what to do about this. I got this proclamation framed for John Rouse, but he won't respond. I can't get him.
Probably out of town.
Y'all give me some advice on what to do.
I won't worry about it.
We'll get it done.
I think it looks nice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think he'd like to have it.
Right. So I'll find him, we'll track him down. I think he has, kind of left town visiting,
He's got kids out of town, so
Yeah.
I'm sure
Kids
or either
and
mail it to him.
Yeah,
so we'll track him down.
we'll
He
put it in
hasn't
Jimmy's hands.
responded. Michael
The reason I
Jackson-
say this is not to do anything but to let you know that it's not been delivered, and I don't know what else to do. I
Has
need-
he responded to your,
No, sir.
well, I won't worry about it.
No, sir, he hasn't, but
Maybe
maybe,
on the flagpole down at Constitution Square.
okay, just real quick, the flagpole on Constitution Square. My recommendation to help to improve the historic significance of Constitution Square, there's two things that I recommended that we try to do. One of them is to bring back the stock or the stockade that was there once before, where people were actually near the jail, where you put your head in, your arms in. It's on a platform to stand. That was there at one point in time. I think it exists somewhere in the county. Somebody said they thought it was out at Pioneer Playhouse. I'd like to get that reinstalled back at Constitution Square.
Kids love those.
Yes, it
The
is.
second thing is because it's a great photo op for classes and tours that come through there, as much as anything, and it was legitimate for that period of time. The other thing is that I thought would be very appropriate on the flag and the flagpole is, who's the 15th state in the nation? We are. What's unique about that? That Star Spangled Banner was the 15-star, 15-stripe flag that flew over Fort McKinney. I would like to see a 15-star, 15-stripe flag on a separate pole flown at Constitution Square, because we are the 15th state.
Very good.
And we opened up the West.
But that's what I'd like to see, because it is so unique to Kentucky. There wasn't a 16th, and there wasn't a 14th.
A lot of people don't know that too.
But
Right.
it's another aspect of adding historical conversation and dialogue to the Constitution Square. That's what the flagpole's about.
And that was the intention of what we were trying to do, was add more history to.
With the committee structure and everything, absolutely.
So where would that fly?
Not,
In the sky.
it would be a separate pole, a separate location that I haven't really zoned
I think it's a
in
good idea. I just think it can't fly higher than the,
It cannot fly higher than the current US flag.
that's correct.
Sure.
So if
So can we get like quotes for all of this stuff and
Yeah.
decide where it's gonna come out of the budget?
Right. Let's do that, and we'll Dwayne, that's what he said, he's looking at quotes on that right now. And DAR said that they would buy the flag.
Good.
Okay?
Judge, as soon as you give us a date, I'm ready to meet with Jamie and you and Judge over in Mercer County and move on jail.
Okay, that sounds good. I wanna do it sooner than later, probably, maybe as early as start next week. Now, I have a request of Jamie and a request of Brother Salmons here to move forward on some initiatives we have about, allocate, or examining potential for space at KSD other than Walker Hall. And, I want to pursue that right now, because the longer we wait, the further away it gets from being a reality because of deterioration. So, I'll just leave it at that.
Working on that.
I don't have anything else.
I
Is
do
it-
have.
Okay, Counselor?
The other day I got an email from Derek Robbins as part of the Black Lives Matter and they sent Derek a list of a system they have to review complaints and so forth. So I mean, a lot of the requests, I mean, that they've made, I think, are easy ones that we can do. I mean, the harder one would be the cameras, which we'd like to do. I'm not saying we don't want to do it. We do. It's just the financial aspect of it. But I'll be getting you all a copy of that.
I made a suggestion at one of our recent meetings that with the review board, that we look at the possibility of the ethics board being a review board.
I had that thought.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's already established board, and I think that's a lot of what they do anyway.
I had that thought in my head, and one thing that, I mean, we have to, due to COVID, we've kind of been busy with other things, but we need to expand the duties of the ethics board, because really it only deals with like people dealing with financial stuff of relatives and this and that. So we need, we're going to expand it about the sexual harassment and other things. So I think that we should expand the duties, and that could include the review of the sheriff's department and so forth. So,
and if we need to add to the number on the ethics board as part of that process, I think those are all things that could be considered.
I agree. It could be the cornerstone to developing that mechanism for the future. Since you are closer to probably John than anybody in the room, I would say that it would be a great opportunity, should he be able to be in contact, to schedule a time where he could come up. I think it would be a great photo op just for us to be out in front of the courthouse with the plaque and the magistrates in the court, okay?
I'll do that. I'll try
if we can do that, just so we can schedule everybody's availability.
Right. Yeah, I don't know his schedule or where he is right now, but I do have a feeling that he's trying to step away to let the new president.
And I'm sure
have his space and get settled in.
Has he moved out yet?
I don't know. As far as I know, the house transition is underway, but they bought property nearby. So
Oh, good, they're staying around.
They're staying
They're
there.
just gonna do a lot of traveling.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I have what?
Yes, ma'am, sorry.
Committee minutes. I have 2 committee minutes that are like, it's Jason and John Kaywood's committee, 2 meetings worth, the last 2 meetings. I still have not gone signed minutes for the audit book. What do I need to do? Because that book needs to get off my desk.
Jail them.
I keep sending emails and I'm not getting anything. So
I only saw one email, but I send, every time I do minutes, I send them to Ann, and they get put in the box, and so I haven't seen them, so I'll have John and I sign them right away.
Well,
I haven't seen any in my box. The ones I have signed,
I need to rectify this by the end of the week, because I need to get that book off my desk. I don't need to be chasing these
I
around.
like they need to go to the stockade.
Yeah.
It's
not my job to chase them around.
I think whoever's the chairperson of that committee needs to be fired.
I think they ought to be the first guest in the judge's stockade.
Sounds good to me. I could use
So
the
when
vacation.
can I expect those?
Well, I'm gonna go over there as soon as we're done. As soon as he hits that gavel, I'm gonna go talk to Ann.
Okay, because there's 2 months worth,
I make a motion we adjourn.
2 meetings.
It's only EMS.
It doesn't matter, it's 2
No,
meetings.
but that's my understanding. That's EMS.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Two
yeah.
meetings.
I mean, I have them all right here. They just get signed.
I just need to, I don't need to be chasing people around.
Get on them, Murray,
So-
get on
Is
Chuck.
there any other committees other than EMS?
No,
Okay.
just those 2.
All right. Motion
Make
to
a motion
adjourn.
Yeah.
Second.
Dave, Salmon, second by Gay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned. Thank you.
Jason.
Yes.
Give them hell, Murray.